Okay. All right. Here we are with another 5D chess game review. There are like 10 of them in the review queue. We haven't done one in too long. But what's important is that we're here now doing one. This is a game review submitted by Andre many moons ago. However, he decided to replace the game that he had submitted with a game that he played just the other day against Lexi, our very own Sexy Lexi, aka twitch.tv/cry4lexi, aka youtube.com/Sexy Lexi, I believe. Anyway, it's a defended pawn game between Andre and Lexi that apparently is incredible. So let's see. I don't know who is playing each side, question mark. And Andre just stepped out as well. So I don't know who has each color. I think that Andre has black because the PGN says white opponent. So, okay. All right. Well, I mean, hey, let's just jump into it. Okay. So what's going on here? We'll review it from Andre's perspective. And if it's the wrong perspective, then he can correct us. This was a short timer game. So it's the equivalent of a blitz game for 5D chess. So if there's spaghetti, then that's the excuse. Okay. C4. C4 is played. We've seen C4 played before. It makes sense for defended pawn. It makes sense that C4 is. We see a lot of C4 in defended pawn. I mean, you'll see a lot of knight F3 to start with, and then C4. But you know, you have the flexibility, so it's like not a super big deal, right? C5 is the response, which makes sense. You know, we're playing symmetric. That's fine. That's cool. We're just gonna blitz through the opening here. B4 to challenge C5. I've played this game, I think, recently. Right? I think that this isn't super uncommon. Immediately challenging for control of the C-pawn here. Obviously, something that you don't want to do is just take this and then enable your opponent to activate his queen. This is the Dreamer's Gambit, is it? Well, there we go. The man himself is here. Is that self-proclaimed? I follow the naming convention when naming names, when naming games. Oh, I see. The name of the game is Lexi Andre Evil _plan. And put white first. Okay, fantastic. All right, okay. So we see this. You know, it's a little, it's a little randy, a little spicy, a little raunchy, but you know, this is what we get. Response: the chattest e6 of your life. Defending it with the bishop, you know, makes sense, and you know, you love to play e6 anyway. Although everyone and their mother, ever since Ryan came into the scene, has been kind of reserving e6 for a knight. But I like, this is what I play in this position as black. Anyway, not to mention, I think that it's sort of out of vogue now, the Ryan strat, right? A Dreamer's Gambit declined. I think it's good to decline Dreamer's Gambit in this position. At least that's what I would do. Okay, in response, we get A4. No time has been spent, by the way, on any of these moves so far. A4. Which is great. No, it makes sense. You're not going to break the combo after C4 before A4 is a mistake, surely. A mistake in what sense? Hi, Los. I think it's a mistake in that it's too cute and gives up to, like, it doesn't do enough. But I think it's probably what Lexi meant to do. I think it's probably the intention of the white player here. Dreamer's Gambit, Lexi's fucked up variation. Whose game are you analyzing? This is Lexi with white against Dreamer with black. Resignable TBH? Oh, I wouldn't go there. Holy shit. It was a short timer game, so it's a blitz game. You know, opening doesn't matter in blitz games. In 2D chess, in 5D chess, however, not so much. But you know, I mean, let's see what happens. This is a long game. It's like a 30-move game or something. So we've got a lot of game left to play. Immediate, no time spent at all. Andre responds with knight f6, which is the best move in 5D chess. So that's fair. So I couldn't really punish. Oh, I see. That's Andre's excuse for for why the game isn't over like immediately. But you know, honestly, fair enough. Okay, no time at all. Okay, I didn't realize that this was a meme game, but almost without 5 seconds have been spent on this next move. White plays rook a3. I mean, you know, it takes forever to activate this rook. So I see where Lexi's coming from here. You know, you push up all these pawns. You play for control of the queen side here, and then you're gonna shift your rook straight over. You know, they've always said rook a3 is explosive. This makes sense since Andre missed the window to take on b4. I mean, Andre did. I am wondering why after e6, Andre didn't just immediately, like, to do some actual analysis here, right? A4, why not take on b4? That's like the main. Now I get why he's been repping L's all day long. He kept playing this BS all day long. Yeah, Andre, did you just, were you like, whatever he plays, I'm gonna play knight f6? Because the obvious play here is just to take, right? Like, and then what are you afraid of? Because it's kind of difficult for him to kick because he doesn't have a pawn on the a file anymore. It's really annoying, right? So what's happening? You didn't sink too much? Fair enough. All right, he didn't sink too much. Okay. In response, Andre captures on b4. It takes him 10 seconds to calculate that this is the move, by the way, but that's fine. Immediately we see rook f3, which, like, if you pull it, if you're pulling your rook up to a3, the reason is to pull it over to f3 to try to make something happen on f3, right? Spoken like someone who doesn't flag. Well, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Almost no time has been spent still. But, you know, if c takes b4 had happened the turn earlier, then rook a3 wouldn't have been possible. Look at that rook development. I mean, the rook is the most valuable piece after the queen, so early rook out, pretty strong. Pretty strong. We all know this. Okay. What happens now? I mean, I guess you bolster f6. Maybe, I don't know, queen out. Maybe, because he can't move his knight out to kick your queen, and it's gonna be, so I might have played maybe like queen e5 here. I could also see the knight out. I don't think you're too worried about like takes and then recapture here or anything like that, right? I don't know. Maybe pawn up to Frappuccino the bishop. It's hard to analyze meme games. He's playing a snake with that rook. Yeah. Will 2 rooks spawn in a row if he takes one? Obviously, we play a5, rook a6. Not with e6, Ryan. Where's your early rook theory at? Come on. Okay. So what actually happens? Bishop e7. Andre spends 7 seconds, I guess 10 seconds with the 3-second delay, and he defends the rook, the knight with the bishop. Is that, I mean, it's okay. Is it suboptimal? Maybe. h6, rook h6. Or sorry, h5, rook h6. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Then we just play e5. Okay. All right, he redeemed himself. H5, rook h6 would defend the knight and is optimal play here. No, okay. So we defend the knight with the bishop, which is fine. Which is fine if you don't want to like weaken your pawn structure. Because like one of the things that you do have to worry about when your opponent belligerently sacks otherwise irrelevant pieces onto f6 is that, you know, you want to leave some pawns to do some work, right? Like that seems fine. I think it's reasonable. But if takes, then you do lose this pawn. So in that sense, I'm not in love with it. And if takes, then you're taking with the pawn. Then why did you move your bishop in the first place? I don't know. I'm not super sure, but it is a defended pawn, so you also don't really need to worry. But you can just capture with the pawn with impunity, and you've got your d8 knight covering f7. But it's short timer. It's short timer. Our moves have no repercussions or thought behind them, so it's fine. Immediately rook f6, because why would you not play rook takes f6? And then you do take with the pawn. So why'd you move this bishop in the first place? Andre, what was the plan here? I'm glad that we have Andre here. And if you're telling me like, oh, it's just short timer, then I can't do analysis of the game. This is less of a game review and more of a game showcase, which I suppose is fine. It's your channel points, but come on, dog. Why not? Okay, fair enough. Because what's your bishop doing on e7 that it's not doing on f8? It's a waste of tempo, right? You could have developed another piece. No? Imagine that you've got a queen here instead. Right? Then it would have been swag. You could have taken with the queen. It would have been great. All right. In any case, this is what has happened. This is where we are now. Andre now spends approximately 10 seconds. No, actually fewer. It's like 5 seconds. To do that. Right, okay. Then we get development out of Lexi. We get knight f3, which is, that hangs a pawn. What hangs a pawn? I'm not saying you should have taken with the bishop, but I'm saying if you're going to take with the pawn anyway, why move the bishop up? So I'm not saying that here you should, but why move the bishop if all you're going to do is block it with a pawn? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. We get knight f3 from Lexi, which is the first sensible move he's played all game. Because of bishop b2, I guess. Bishop b2. I guess, but you can just respond to that with like a bishop move of your own, right? Before taking on f6. Like, why preempt your opponent and lock yourself into a pattern of play? I mean, I guess the queen move would have been bad, but you know, whatever. I don't know, knight out, something like that. Because if you do knight out, and then bishop b2 happens, then you can play bishop e7, right? Yeah, queen e5 and then bishop b2 is annoying. But anyway, I feel like Lexi could have gone for the very simple game plan of the line everything up on f6. Queen a1, bishop b2. Yeah, I think that would have been the more sensible way to capitalize on the rook development, right? Instead of just immediately sacking. So I kind of agree with you guys. Like, letting this... Okay, this is really silly, but it's also not like it's terrible for white, because, like, you need all the pieces you can get. The only bad thing about this is that it's difficult to develop your knight to f3, which is, like, a key player in the everything onto f6, f7 game plan. You know what I mean? But it's fine. Knight f3 is played. How do you respond? This is the real... Knight f3 is played. Chat, how would you respond? Knight f3 has been played. Now you gotta develop your pieces, right? You gotta develop your pieces. Developing the knight, possibly. But that undefends f7, so you probably don't want to do that. You develop your bishop, you don't want to cover, so maybe Frappuccino the bishop. Maybe, pull like a rook over to the open file, which doesn't really do anything, and also would drop the pawn, so that's pretty bad. You actually don't have very many options here as black, right? Kind of all you can do is maybe like develop this bishop, get your queen active. Actually, I think that's probably all. Queen d6, queen d6, perhaps b6 first. Queen f4. Queen f4 is a bold move. Does it actually accomplish anything? I mean, it hits this pawn. It doesn't get immediate... Well, I don't know, because e6... Your opponent wants to play e6 anyway to defend this pawn. Like, if you play this queen move, and that simultaneously defends the piece and also kicks your own piece. That's kind of annoying. I suppose it could get kicked with, like, a d3, which is, like, kind of sketchy anyway, but I'm not in love with queen f4. I think probably b6, maybe. Okay, what happens? We get a b6. It's basically rattled off immediately, which makes sense. You got to develop... Okay. Lexi thinks for 40 seconds. It's most thinking he's done all game. And he plays queen e4. Like a Chad. Now, This bishop is gonna come here to kick, like, anyway. Like, why else would you play b6 if not to play bishop b7? So I don't like super understand what the game plan is here. Like, what's that queen gonna do? But you know what? I mean, that's our obvious game plan. What's the idea here? Why would you do this? What, like, where are you gonna put your queen? You're gonna put your queen somewhere, but how is it gonna do anything before you've covered maybe queen h4 and then like bishop here, and then you're gonna load pieces onto f6? Maybe. I mean, hey, activating your queen is like fine. I think I probably would have tried to activate my other pieces first. But maybe he like wants to play this d3 move, and it would be difficult to get his queen out of there easily. Lexi had stage 5, I think. Yeah, or h4 at least. Yeah, h5 is not super useful because it's defended pawn, right? There isn't any travel onto d7 though. There isn't any travel onto d7. True. Yet again, playing bishop is maybe introduce a weakness. Like, even if a queen lands there, who cares? That's actually a great point. With all of the, even if a queen lands like here on this turn, you just take with the king, and then you just block the next turn, right? Don't defend it before you need to. It almost looks scary. The thing, with what pieces is Lexi going to capitalize on a travel to this board? You know what I mean? Especially because the queen is hit on this board anyway. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, but I mean, we're going to play this bishop move anyway. There's a knight check. Queen here takes with king. If this travel ever actually materialized, which can't happen immediately, by the way. That's neither here nor there. You can also pretty easily do like a travel of your own and just recapture with the knight. But anyway, queen here takes, knight check. Takes. You just block with the queen anyway. I don't think there's anything there. There's enough checks or threats. It's only one move off with knight e5 check and queen d4. But then there's bishop d5, so it's fine. Bishop d5 is fine. Queen takes knight, threatens two mates. Queen takes knight, threatens two mates. Knight, queen takes knight. It threatens two mates. Or no, it's defended. After e3, d4, or yeah, queen d6. I think there's nothing here is my point. Okay, all right. The queen's got to go somewhere. Where does it go? It takes 8 seconds for Lexi to decide that this queen definitely goes to g4. g4. I was expecting h4 to load the pieces onto... What? I guess maybe he wants to go to g7? He's eyeing up g7? That must be the plan, right? I mean, this pawn is defended, so there's not much that g7 really accomplishes. Is there? I don't know. Queen g7, rook over, win a pawn, maybe. Okay, well, what do you have to respond as black. What do you do? Maybe get your queen over here? Queen e5 maybe? I feel like you can just queen d6 here and be winning. That's what I think too. What happens in the game? Queen d6 happens. It takes Andre about 10 seconds to decide to play queen d6. Queen e5 hangs. Queen e5 definitely hangs it to the knight, you're right. No, queen d6 is the better move for sure. Andre very wise. Pawn takes knight. Queen takes pawn, threatens two mates, and also hangs it. All right. Yeah, queen e5 definitely hangs it to the knight. Don't defend the queen g7 since it sucks. That's what I would do. Is not worry about it. Queen g7, and then you just pull this over, and then you're fine. Everything's pre-defended. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. There's no follow-up because there are no white pieces on the board. But okay, that's fine. We're about a minute in for both players here. What happens next? Queen g7 immediately happens. Okay, I'm still with you. I think they're like the only way that you defend this is rook f8, right? Like, what else are you gonna be doing? This has been an absurd game so far. It takes Lexi a minute and a half to decide that following up with queen g7 is like the only play, which I kind of get because you've already wasted so much time and energy on the move, so you might as well. This would be really scary if everything wasn't like triply defended. Protection cube. This really is the look at this. I love that it's isolated too. It's just like a fort with no other. Nothing gets past a cube. Nothing gets past a cube. You can evacuate too if you do like a, well, no, you don't want to. Well, no, yeah. If you play like the like the knight out here, you can castle this way. There's like an evacuation route as well, you know. There's like an underground tunnel. Cube. That's a very shogi castle. I wouldn't know, but I believe you. White just needs a knight on g7 ... Yeah, if only. He's setting up the smother mate, chat, this whole time. That's funny. People say you can't castle in 5D chess. Lexi's trying to flex, forcing Andre to make a cube in an attempt to smother mate. That would be next level, though. Holy shit. Okay, rook f8 is played. And it doesn't take Andre long to decide that that's the play. In response, Lexi does what he can. It's blitz. You see a free piece, you take a free piece. What could go wrong? Still hasn't developed very much, but you know, I mean, you've won a pawn, right? For your trouble. Your opponent's in a cube. It's not like you can do much anyway. You gotta back up. Big part of shogi theory is building castles around the king that look vaguely like this. That sounds very unfun in terms of like metagame to play against. But I'm sure that it's very like deep and interesting. See a free piece, take a free piece. See a free pawn, don't. That's true. That is the second part of the saying. Yeah, that is the saying. You don't take free pawns, chat. You heard it here first. Okay, what do you do now? What do you do now? I guess you develop your remaining pieces. I could see an argument for castling queenside, though you kind of don't have to. As Andre, I don't really know. You could, well, could develop your rook. You could move this knight out and like castle. You could ostensibly, I suppose, sack your bishop into your opponent's knight so that he has no developed pieces. IDK sounds fun to me. That was my intuition as a child about how to play chess. I just wanted to build a fortress. Knight h4, knight g6 for smothered mate. It's true. Knight h4, and then you're in trouble. But not if you play your knight out. I'm just saying. Well, okay. What's the play? Andre decides to play rook c8. He developed his rook. All right. No, yeah. If you have undeveloped pieces, why not? That's pretty good. The bishop sack would also prevent the smothered mate from happening. But, the fact that there's a Wait, what did I read? Knight g6 for smothered mate? Yeah, knight h4, knight g6 for smothered mate. Yikes. Knight h4 is looking possibly scary. Knight h4, and what do you do, actually? Knight h4... If knight h4 happens, first of all, what's the play? I mean, I guess the play is knight g6 and you can't take because otherwise your opponent wins the game and you travel 2 turns into the past to g7. And that's smothered mate and it's 2 turns in the past, and you also can't actually do like a travel to defend it, right? Probably knight c6 not to get smothered. Knight c6 not to get smothered. I guess that's probably what you do. But you've moved your rook, so now you can't even castle. Sag. Oh wait, that doesn't work, right? Yeah, I think knight c6 probably here is best. No, hold on. Knight c6 doesn't work because the... Oh no, it does work because here, no, and then it would, the travel ends up on this board, right? Yeah. If this happens and you knight c6 and knight g6 happens. Oh no, it travel. No, hold on. Does it travel to this board or to the board after this one? It's a 2-turn travel if you have the king. If you have to king travel, that'd be very bad. The king from the board where that could travel to d8. Yeah, but that sounds pretty bad. Forced exiles? It's not a forced exile. But maybe it's fine. The king travel might be fine. No king escape. There is a king escape. You think white wins if knight c6? Wait, for real? Because if knight c6, knight g6, like you knight c6 the turn after, because the king can go to d8 in the future. You think that that's like losing? For real? God damn. Tiny Pastel Unicorn, first time chat. Hope your day is going well. Thank you so much, Tiny Pastel Unicorn. I love your username. Welcome to the chat. Thanks so much. Hope you're enjoying the stream. My day is going pretty well. We lost some games earlier, but we played all right, so it's not too bad. Hope your day's going well as well. This time you have 2 kings. True. All right, we got to get through this game, so we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But actually, I don't know. Okay, so but there's got to be some other way to prevent this, right? I mean, we're analyzing the game, so this is like interesting. Maybe set up some Jurassic. Well, that's crazy though, because you don't have any pieces that can recapture on the appropriate. I don't know. So what's your... Ryan, why do you think it's so bad to have 2 kings on the other board? Black is too smothered. Can't defend. Black is pretty smothered. You just traveled there? The position is repeated from a previous board? Oh, that's a good point. You are in a smothering loop, aren't you? I didn't consider that. No, because the knight... thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it, Tiny Pastel Unicorn. Main is here. Chess panel advanced. Lexi gets an attack for free. It's true that Lexi gets an attack for free. Maybe knight c6 and after knight g6, queen c5 or d4 for the Jurassic. The thing is, you have no the board where the king escapes to, which is like the original timeline. There's no knight because the knight does the traveling, so you're not smothered. It's not a repeated position. Right? Although it's not, it doesn't seem ideal. I agree with you. It doesn't seem ideal. Knight G6, Queen C5, or D4 for the Jurassic. True. No. No what? You have to make new timelines where you get mated? You do? Knight can travel from the board where he tries to smother first. All right, okay. Let's check this out. This happens. And then what do you do? What's the move here? Knight moves 2 back, so you can't just move? Knight moves 2 back, so you can't just move. King move? Only legal move, king to here. This is fucking absurd. If I have to give up timeline advantage, then it's made by assumption. Knight can jump to G7 again immediately, by the way. Romad's latest message, my auto mod held because it thought it might be a racially charged, like, profanity. Which is funny. I think it's the N and the 1 and the G. Big yikes. That's fucking crazy. Or, you know, this is fucking crazy. The fact that this move exists. Not this G7? Oh. Wait, what G7 are you guys talking about? Wait, why not this G7? By the way. Because the king is smothered here anyway, right? To the past? What past? Am I high? You're saying, or this knight maybe you're saying? It can't go to any G7. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, not G7, the other G7. The one on top of G7. Oh, if you meant that G7, then yeah, totally. I thought you meant the, you know, the G7 that exists. 2 turns back, 1 timeline down. Where is 2 turns back, 1 timeline down? Like, this is, you're saying that, like, this knight, not this turn, but the next turn, will go to G7 here. Is that what you're saying? Like this G7 here? This G7? 2 turns back, 1 timeline down, 3 timelines ahead, 4 turns right. 2 turns behind and then 1 turn above. Yeah, but you can also do this. I guess it gives your opponent... What can your opponent do? What is white... What does black do about this? Oh, this king can run away to here. For some reason, I thought it was white's turn on the middle board. No, it's definitely better just to waste time here, isn't it? For sure. Yeah. No, you waste time here. You do like this maybe, or something like that. And well, alternatively, you can also do this knight play here to make this check happen, and then when the king only move, you have the same travel on this board, but with 2 kings. Wait, that's so much better, right? Do the same board we just traveled to. To the same board we just traveled to. We want to go there again, I think. It's just mate, I want to say. King moves to 0. All we have to do is avoid check and survives longer. Look at -1L. Okay, what about this, though? Because this is a black travel, right? So this happens. And then this king moves or whatever. And then you deliver a check. It doesn't really matter. And then you deliver a check with like this knight here. Onto like this king up here on this timeline. Then this knight can go to G7 on this board where there are 2 kings. That's probably better, right? The 2 king board? A travel onto the 2 king board? Okay, letting the present catch up is always messy. All right. Knight B8 check in response. Knight B8 check in response. Knight B8 check in response. What does Knight B8 check? Why Whispering calculating all this? You're right. Okay, all right. We can also send the top board knight to G8 on the bottom board. That'll be mate in 2. Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah, true. Take, forced capture, and then take. All right, okay. We have to waste a turn to do it. All right. Yeah, we really do just have to avoid check, huh? This happens. I don't know what happens next. Let's just do whatever. And then this happens. And then the king can run away again. But it can't because it's on check on that board. So I think it's forced. Queen has to go back to here, right? Something like that. This is a wild game submission. It really is. Can knight G7 go back to 0 LG7? Yes. And this looks pretty bad. Now, like, anything happens, and then you deliver a check, and then you win. Because of this mother. In any case, it actually looks pretty rough. This is a wild variation. This didn't happen in the game. Yeah, no, this didn't happen in the game, but absurdly, at this stage, it appears as though Lexi actually... You guys are right. Like, I think that if on this turn, after Rook C8, which again, I would have done Knight C6, that's just me. Lexi missed this opportunity. He didn't go Knight H4, but he could have. You said you couldn't analyze a blitz game? I was wrong. Okay, all right. Let's get back to the actual game. What happens again? Hold on. Let me use the let's see. C4, C5, B4, E6, A4, Knight F6, Rook A3, C takes B4, Rook F3. That's not F3. Rook F3, Bishop B7, Rook takes F6, G takes F6. Knight F3, Bishop... No, Knight F3, B6, Queen E4, Bishop B6. Or sorry, Bishop B7. Queen G4? Right? Queen D6. Queen G7, Rook F8. Queen H7, Rook C8. Okay. It appears as though, absurdly, Knight H4 here is winning for white. What instead happens? Queen C2. Queen C2 happens, chat. So none of that happened. Everything that we just analyzed, nothing. None of that. Okay, now Andre decides to play knight. Knight c6. I can't believe that in a position like this. Well, at least knight a4, knight c6 is winning. I can't believe. Yeah, no, at least knight h4, knight c6 is winning. Maybe there's a better response, like prepping a Jurassic or something like that. But that seems pretty sketchy to me as well. Especially during a short timer game. But I can't believe that you play queen c2 here. He spent a while on that move too. He was really looking for it, but all right. Alexi's a bit rusty. If you prep a Jurassic, there's also knight g8. That's true. That's true, actually, right? Yeah. Prep a Jurassic, there's knight g8. Is interesting. Okay, let's keep going. So knight c6 happens. White response. Okay. h4. White is incapable of pushing any of their pawns just one space. h4 is interesting. I don't really super understand it besides wanting to get your other rook into the game. Is knight g8 even stoppable? I don't think so. Here, knight out. Yeah, prep a Jurassic. I don't know, man. King over to d8. That's true. Okay. h4 happens. In response, knight d4, which makes sense. Kick the queen. Fuck with the knight. Checks out. I enjoy this line of play. Load everything onto f3. Why not? Right? You've got this bishop here too. It's going to cause problems. This rook here is going to maybe be able to do something silly depending on how the board unfolds. Okay, let's see. In response, I mean, it's blitz. You're not in the best spot. You just take the knight. You take the knight. Okay. I mean, in response, you obviously take the knight back. Like, you don't have to think. 1 second was spent on this move by Andre, which is 1 second too long. Okay. In response, e3. Queen gets kicked. Pawn's also defended, by the way. This is wise. This is wise. Okay. Where do you bring your queen? You could bring it back here. That's pretty cowardly. The only other square really to bring it to then here, and then it can get kicked again anyway, so that's not very fun, right? So I think queen g4 is like the clear play here. You don't necessarily need to have like an insane follow-up immediately, but I think that queen g4 is the way. Andre thinks for about 1 minute and plays queen g4, which is fair enough. All right, cool. All right, queen g4. Queen g4 hath happened. How do you develop? How do you develop as Lexi? You don't want to like defend this pawn again and drop this pawn. You don't want to drop your rook by pushing this pawn. Your pieces are kind of frozen into place, right? What about bishop e4? Bishop e4. Bishop e4 is a move. It's cute. I don't really know what it accomplishes. All right, so bishop e4. Obviously, you can't take the queen because then you immediately lose. Yeah. Maybe bishop e4 does accomplish something. What if bishop e4 happens here? What do you guys think about bishop e4? It blunders a piece? Oh, it blunders... Probably, but how? How does it blunder a piece? Bishop e4... I guess bishop e4 and then you push the pawn... No, because then you lose the queen. The queen has to move, right? But it has to open the trigonal with d3. Ah, yeah, d3. Yeah, no, okay, d3. That's what I thought was the response earlier. Because that's sort of what happens in situations like that, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, my piece is being threatened. Let me just threaten my opponent's piece. But then if like both of your pieces that are being threatened can be threatened, then you've like lost a piece for no reason. Yeah, I'm going to consider bishop b4 here, actually. I don't think it's worth the piece. Especially in blitz. Mostly because these bishops haven't moved and they just cover all these pawns so well. And this queen exists here, so I don't think it's worth just for opening up the trigonal. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. In any case, queen g4 has happened. Queen g4 has happened. Now, in response, what do you do as Lexi? Honestly, I don't really know. I don't really know what you do here as Lexi. This knight, like all these pieces are doing like crucial... They're performing crucial roles. I don't know what to do. Anyone have ideas for Lexi? Well, okay, what happens in the game? Queen d3? I mean, I guess. I can't posit an alternative. Todovsky, first time chat. How's it going? Rook h3 or pray for a miracle, I guess. Yeah. I don't like that Rook h3 I think Rook h3 just leaves you vulnerable to... I think Rook h3 is actually really rough. Because Rook h3 and then you just sack the bishop in. And then like bishop takes, queen takes, and there's no way that you can cover back rank mate. Because like otherwise you could, like if the rook, if that exchange happened, and your rook was on h1, then you could pull it over to f1, you know? So yeah. But welcome to the chat. Rook h3, bishop takes g2, rook g3 could be tricky. Rook h3, bishop takes, rook g3. I think not, because you can take the bishop and it's check, forced only move, recapture. Or calling any capture a sack? No, yeah, that's true. Then the king is forced to recapture, and then you take the or you don't take the pawn, but you put your queen on h3, and then the rook is pinned to the king, you know? So like here, bishop takes, rook here, bishop takes, check, forced only move takes, and then you, oh sorry, the rook is here, so you don't pin the king. My visualization is off. But in any case, like you take the pawn on h4, the king is here, so you're threatening immediate mate here, and if your opponent covers it with the rook, then you get the mate here. That makes sense. I'm too used to normal chess. Yeah, no, it's for 5D reasons that this is like particularly, this isn't an option. But yeah, no, for sure. That's an interesting 2D option. But yeah, there you go. I don't know why I call any capture a sack. I really shouldn't. All right. I mean, you do sacrifice the bishop for the pawn. You just then also get the bishop back. Okay. Right. What's going on here? Queen d3 happens. Queen d3 is played. Which may, I mean, yes, all of your pieces are paralyzed. Like you want to get your queen over to the defensive f2. That way you can do literally anything else with your pieces, right? Which is what you would be loving to do with your pieces right now, is anything other than just sitting there. So you just take this here. Is there any reason not to take this? I feel like there have to be a few wins for Andre here, right? Famous bishop for a bishop and a pawn sack. Yeah. Lexi's playing only queen moves. Lexi is playing only queen moves. Is there any reason not to take on g2 with the bishop? Any reason? Anybody? It feels good, right? Capture has to be good mainly because rook pin, like rook here, you don't give a shit. Also, in like a few turns, you have this win here, by the way, with this queen here, so you don't really care. Not to mention, if rook pin happens, then you take here. If like queen captures, sure, you don't really care. You just like take the pawn, you know? I've been paranoid about queen d7. True. Queen d7 is at the... Oh, Sonoy's gifted a sub to Todovsky. Thank you so much, Sonoy. You're too kind. Sonoy's paying forward the gift sub they got from Dave the other day. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Enjoy, Todovsky. Okay. Todovsky. Check and take the h-pawn. Yeah, check and take the h-pawn is an option. Also, just like chill is an option, I suppose. Because this travel is lethal for sure, right? But yeah, maybe you're worried. It's like blitz and you're worried about like a queen travel onto d7 or something like that, which I think is sensible, especially because you don't have knights that you can like Jurassic to defend the pawn. That's fine. So what's actually played? Okay, we just get a c6. A very calm... Honestly, I don't think about that sort of shit during blitz though. Actually, I might enter into a reverse Tchaikovsky idea. A reverse Tchaikovsky idea. Maybe. Bishop c6 is played. Both players now have about 4 minutes on the clock, by the way. These last two moves, the queen d3 and then the bishop c6, took a few minutes. Wanted to sub anyway. Also got a sub gifted. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Okay. Bishop c6 is sensible. It's sensible. I mean, you're running out the clock on this. This travel is going to win soon, right? I really would have liked this move, but that's fine. Okay, cool. What's going on here? Bishop c6. Queen e2. Queen e2 happens. Queen e2 happens because it has to happen. If queen e2 doesn't happen, this also cuts off this rook from this pawn. Not that it matters too much. I suppose it does open up like this threat, which is actually there's like maybe some interesting stuff going on here, but in any case, queen e2 happens, it covers f2. Finally, this knight can like get out to like b2. You know, you can move, you can start moving your pieces around, which isn't too bad. Okay, so queen e2 has been played. What do you do here? I guess you just sack and you pick up. Is there any reason? Well, okay. I think sacking is probably good because you get free pawns in response. Like if takes and this happens, then you get the bishop here, you get this pawn. If takes and then takes with the king, then you probably take this pawn and threaten to take this pawn maybe. You've got like promotion ideas actually. It's kind of wild. Is there any reason to not? Is there any reason to not trade? Is there like a better... You probably want to go for the queen sack. Also, you've wasted... This queen has moved like 12 times this game. What if king retakes? Yeah, if king retakes, then you just take this pawn, right? Bishop d5 instead of bishop c6 was probably a little more active. Bishop d5 rather than bishop c6. Bishop d5. Bishop d5 is gnarly. I really like bishop d5. Think leaving queens around should favor black? I agree with you. Why is that even an option? Bishop d5 is pretty hype. Takes, and you're about to win the game. Is there bishop f3 shutting the door? Bishop f3 shutting the door to what? Oh, present. You mean this? I believe the travel's already been blocked. Travel to where? Oh, this travel? Is this the travel you're talking about? Oh no, this travel. I see. No, yeah, you can't do the travel. You can't do the travel. Yeah, no. Right? Right? Like if this bishop is here. Oh no, maybe you're right. Hold on. Sorry, cuz if this bishop is here and then literally anything happens, like this pawn capture happens, then the queen goes here. Queen goes here. I think. All right about that? No, queen goes here. My bad. Can I fucking count? Chat. Queen goes here, right? 3 turns in the past? 1 turn too soon? Yeah, 1 turn too soon for the mate. All right. Counting. Okay. Okay. What actually happens in the game, though? We get the trade. I agree, because the black queen is so much more active than the white queen, but I also think that trading here leads to an easy... Like, trade, and then you pick up this pawn, and then you've got this passed pawn that you just walk up the board, right? Which probably is what happens. Okay, so which one takes? Which one would you take with, chat? I don't really know. There are no like knights on the board. Taking with the king doesn't seem too bad. What does Lexi decide to do? Lexi decides to take with the bishop. It drops this pawn to the bishop. And so that happens for sure. Taking with the king looks interesting. I might have taken with the king because this looks scary. I wonder if it's good to still just take this pawn anyway. You know? This one hangs 2 pawns. I don't think taking this pawn is good. I would have... Like, do you think that taking on a4 was better? Is that what you're saying? It really might be. I feel like you just win on the queen side. Yeah, right? Anyway, this happens. In that sense, taking with the bishop rather than the king is great because it baits Andre into doing this. Now Alexei has kingside counterplay, develops his rook. Yeah, it does enable him to develop his rook. That's true. King takes c2 with f3 ideas looks interesting too. Maybe. After everything's off the board, f3. I don't really see it. I don't really see it. All right, well, hey, this happens. The bishop is taken on g2. Obviously, what you're going to do is kick the bishop off, right? Where does the bishop go? This time the bishop goes to d5. Which is interesting. It's still good, I think. It's spicy. It's less good than the setup earlier, obviously, with the queen over here. I do, yeah... Andre has given Lexi the full control of the G file now, which is fantastic. King takes e2 with f3. Right now that rook looks developed, but it's pinned. It's true. It's true. But I mean, you're not looking for like immediate action anyway. But yeah, eventually, like you can't just pull the rook wherever because you'll get back ranked. That's true. That's true. Oh, all right. What's going on here? Bishop d5 has been played, which I think is interesting. Lexi takes the bait, which... is probably good. See a free piece, take a free piece, right? He spent 40 seconds on this move debating. I mean, you've got not that much going on. I think going up a piece is, you probably, I mean, you don't go up the piece, but you like damage your opponent's structure. I wouldn't give that bishop. I wouldn't give out that bishop, at least right now. You probably want to save the bishop and lose the pawn, right? You probably want to Frappuccino the bishop. Opening the board while your knight isn't developed, strange. Yeah. Hey, Samet, heading out. Look forward to whenever you get to my Sudoku. Look forward to getting to your Sudoku, Mathbridge. Thanks for hanging around. Catch you later. Okay. This happens. It's Blitz. This happens. Immediately, the rook comes crashing through on c1. If you could trade this rook for all of the pieces that could in any way defend against this pawn push, then that would be pretty cool. This pawn being here is still a buzzkill, but you know, it's fine. It's also nice that you can push this pawn and you know, this bishop can come into support as well. Now black can queen. That's certainly what black is playing for. The rook on c1 is nice because it pins the knight, right? So you can just push up. This bishop here is kind of like the only counterplay, but pawn for bishop feels pretty good anyway. Is the b pawn going to promote because the knight is... It looks like it's headed in that direction, right? Hey, Samet, I'm not heading up, but I look forward to whenever you get to Chess Battle Advance. I mean, feel free to challenge me to it, man. You probably got enough channel points. Okay. All right, okay. What do you do now as Lexi? You realize the error of your ways. You start shitting bricks. You've both got 3 minutes on the clock. I guess you take material, right? Or you push this bishop out in like an early attempt to get the... Or now that this bishop is gone here, you can get your rook into the mix, right? Maybe something like that. Always take on e6. Here I panic. Always take on e6. I gotta start writing these down. We need like 5D chess fortune cookies from Ryan. Just little tidbits. This could actually be an argument in favor of king takes e2. Oh, that's true. In that it unpins the knight. That's pretty big brain, but true. All right, okay. Taking on e6, I think, is probably the only play, and that's what we see in the game. And then Andre fixes his pawn structure by taking back with the f pawn. Bishop f3 has back rank ideas. Bishop f3 does have some back rank ideas, but with this opening up, with this opening up here of this little space, then again, then the bishop comes out through here, and that's 2D mate hilariously, right? That's crazy. Hold on. If this king goes here, if bishop f3 happens and the king goes up here, then bishop here is 2D mate. That's crazy. Right? Yeah, I mean, bishop f3 is just d5, but if you're not thinking about it, right? What about d5 at bishop f3? The art of chess, Ryan Fortsu. Yeah, no. D5 shuts down the ideas, but it's really funny because it's blitz, right? Like you know, you don't want to, I don't know, like I guess you'd want to push up your pawns, but no, you kind of want like the fortress around your king anyway. King f7, bishop mate. That's fucking great. All right. Okay, what happens in the game though? So pawn takes, bishop f3 happens, threatening back rank. D5 happens, okay? All right, Andre doesn't fall for the 2D mate, which is great. Sorry for being inactive, trying to get higher ranked in Switch Sports Volleyball. Say less, fam. I completely understand. D5 is played. On the other hand, it's not mate. Oh, because the king can travel? Maybe? Yeah, king can travel to e6. Right. Right. People stay tuned. It's about to get wild. Okay, all right. D5 is played. Now what? Ooh, Rook G7. Lexi brings the party to Andre, which is fair enough. What are there like immediate ideas? What's like the plan? Alexi's doing his best for counterplay. You just push this pawn, right? There's like nothing going on. I think Lexi has to go queenside with their bishop. Yeah. But by moving the bishop to f3, you kind of now can't, right? I don't know. I guess you're setting up for a check here because you're resigned to the fact that something is going to promote. So here as black, you don't worry about anything, right? You just push this motherfucking pawn. Yeah? Which will lose, of course? Yeah, no, it'll lose, of course. This must happen. Okay. No, yeah, Andre just... 2 seconds on the... Okay. This is immediate. Bishop f3, d5, rook g7, immediate b3. Immediate b3. We get the bishop check. The king runs away to d8. Not d7, but d8. Fair enough. Okay, d8 happens. I think there's an argument to be made for d7. I don't think it matters very much. Is it substantially worse? I don't really know. d8 happens. King d8 happens. And that is also 0 time is spent on this. Bishop g6 is then played. Bishop g6 is played, and Lexi spends almost a minute and a half of his remaining a minute of his remaining 2 minutes on this move. Now don't worry, king e2, and after rook takes d1, king takes d1, the king's still on the square of the pawn. d7 is actually worse because you create 2 possible back ranks for the bishop. I don't know if I buy it. Stonkfish g7 keeps pushing pawns because the back rank isn't gonna I don't know, like there's no diagonals gonna open up here. The bishop doesn't have access to like the queen side anyway. Stockfish b2, keep pushing pawns. Yeah, I'd probably just push the pawn here, right? What does bishop g6 do? Lexi's used like all of his time here. Andre then spends a minute back trying to figure out what the fuck Lexi is thinking, and then proceeds to push the pawn to b2, which is super fucking hype. I guess Lexi... Okay, so this is like a resignation to the fact that this is going to promote, right? There's no like... You're not playing for a win here. You're playing not to get mated by a queen. Good job, Stonkfish. Maybe f5. Maybe f5. I think pushing the pawn just wins, right? You win material. How do you respond? As Lexi, you go rook e7. All right. Okay. 5 seconds spent on this move. Basically rattled off. The king is just too well defended on the king side. All the avenues are blocked. I mean, maybe he was thinking about it. I see. All right. No, Lexi goes hamburgers. And if you want to recapture here, in fairness, there is now a slight issue. Takes bishop here is going to be mate soon. But you can play rook h8 to prevent both of the mating squares for the 2 back ranks from being relevant, right? So king takes e7 happens. Bishop h7 happens to threaten this, right? Now Andre just queens. I don't know that I've seen a queen happen in like a game in a standard variant. You could even play rook f7, right? Could you? Doesn't rook f7 lose to bishop down? I think that mates a king in the past, maybe. Look what actually threatens Andre. Been queening since the game came out. Lexi's playing his 5-head actually. Why not do this? Does it threaten a travel? It threatens some travels, chat. It's not great. It's soft mates. It doesn't soft mate because you can move your king away. And then bishop here. It's soft mate in 1 via the cool diagonal. Oh, it is because the king recaptures on e7. Oh my god, I forgot. It's immediate soft mate. Wait, that's fucking dope. I totally forgot. Oh, chat. All right, it's immediate. Wow, okay. All right. That's immediate soft mate. So the queen promotion is necessary here to be able to Jurassic. What? What? That's like only move now. So yeah, rook h1 actually loses because the travel is immediate. That results in the soft mate. But you queen. You queen to enable a Jurassic. Oh my god. Okay, and so the bishop immediately goes to e7. Lexi thinks, ha, I've got him. What a fucking noob. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, this checks this king in the past. This is soft mate, straight up. Now, what are we on? Turn 28. This queen travels to, in response, onto the starting square of the queen. 20 turns in the past, chat. Chat. Oh my god. Wow. Oh, I was sorry. I was checking the. It didn't let me do it because I had the arrow up. Incredible. Do you have a term yet for when a bishop moves more than 8 squares? No. Impossible. That's why I play with rooks right at the opening. Gotta see that coming. Or why you don't play. Oh, enable animations, please. All right. Okay. Here is the journey of the queen. The journey of the queen. Let us accompany her. A bishop can move more than 8? I know it can. Poison with the emotes. Is it still considered cementing yourself if you do something like twisting your ankle? Only during climbing. We just talked about this. Fake news alert. No, I know it's possible. You just do the cool diagonal, but more than 8 timelines away. But like, it's never gonna come up, is it? Like, ever. Might be able to play another game while it's still traveling. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Absolutely brutal. There should be a term for it. If you like, I submitted myself today. Oh no, sorry, twisting your ankle. No, definitely not. No, cementing yourself is pulling a muscle when you're climbing. Obviously what happened in the game was animations on, and this is for you to experience that whole experience, Kappa. Dude. Unbelievable. Did you have animations on? Imagine flagging to this. Can't even make it up the stairs to get ZD pizza. You've got 2 ankles, don't you, fam? Come on now. That ZD pizza you are going to have to eat, by the way. Dude. That's fucking insane. At this stage, by the way, both players have like 30 seconds on the clock. It's been a 30 move game. Fucking ridiculous. Okay. Holy shit. I just can't get over. Okay. Soft mate. Pawn promotion into a Jurassic that captures the opponent's queen. Just arrived for this move. Nice timing. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, what do you do as Lexi? Okay, so can you close the game out though? Is the real question, right? Cuz I mean it looks pretty bad, but simultaneously no, it just looks pretty bad. You're not going to have too much trouble closing this out, but I mean it's like 30 seconds each, right? So it's, you know, it's not the easiest. What do you do here as Lexi? E3 is a desperate E3 is played. 24 seconds on the clock. Immediate Queen C1. Andre knows what he's on about. He's also got a travel, by the way. Not that he probably has to use it. Bishop E2, very desperately attempting to defend the one piece that he needs to defend in order to not lose the game. Rook H8 G8 is played. Immediately capitalizing on the open file. Neither player taking any amount. It's 0 seconds on all of these moves, by the way. Andre has 2 queens and Lexi has none. True. Rook G8 is played. A desperate Rook G3 in an attempt to prevent the pawn from being captured. Knight C6 played. King G1 is now played. Sorry, castling, right? King G1 is now played. Knight E5 is then played. And then the game is over. Does Lexi forfeit? Is this what happens? Both players still have 30 seconds on the clock. Does he just flag? How many turns are we away from the soft mate? So many turns. Wow. This is the end. This is how it ends. Really? They don't play it out? What happened? Cement didn't? Oh, sorry. I miscalculated. I must have miscalculated, right? I apologize. Hold on. Oh, I missed a move. I missed a move. Anticlimactic. No. Sorry. Ah, chat. I fucked it up. Andre took on C1. Let's redo that last sequence. I can't believe that. What move did I do instead, though? What move could I possibly have done? So no, knight takes f3, king takes d2 is undefendable. I think I just missed a move for both of the players. Hold on, e3. E3 was played. Then what did I do? Oh, for some reason, instead of taking the bishop, which is definitely what I would have done, Andre, I made this move for Andre. Anticlimactic. Okay, we're gonna get a live replay of the game here. Oh, always on the last move of the game, chat. Okay, that's fine. Let's remember how we got here, right? Then knight c6. Then the king castles. Then knight e5 happens. So this is it, right? And then the game ends here. Lexi just leaves. He just rage quits. Made into on board. Andre's winning here. Now Lexi flagged. Okay, Lexi flagged trying to figure out how to not lose the game. So check here. No, give me a sec. M2. Knight takes F3. Oh yeah, queen takes D2 checks the king on the other board, of course. Yeah, okay. Andre's winning. I didn't see how, but there's mate in 2 on the board. So the threat is knight takes F3 check, and then when anything happens, that the knight is the only current defender of the D2 pawn. If the queen takes the D2 pawn, then it checks the king from the original timeline, so it's over. So Andre wins. Lexi flags. He has 24 seconds to reconsider all of his life choices. Have all of his childhood memories flash before his eyes. He regrets ever picking up the game. More pertinently, he probably regrets playing c4, b4, a4. Although he did have winning chances there. He had winning chances. But wow. What a game. What a game. That's not a bad ending. With mate and 2 on the board, that's not a bad ending. That's absolutely absurd. I can't believe how competitive that game ended up being. From like almost at every point, it was like Andre obviously wins. Wait, Lexi has ideas. Oh, okay, he didn't take advantage of them. Andre's obviously winning. Okay, cool. Andre just pushes up. He just went. Wait, Lexi has these winning ideas. That was insane. The box of defense is. I can't believe that the smother was actually pertinent. That's crazy. That queen travel was cool. Oh my god, the promotion onto the queen's starting square was insane. That was a pretty good game.